The Browns on a bye week, ready to tweak some things offensively. Take a look at this note. Jake Burns tweets this out. So Browns have the NFL's sixth best yards per play in RPO concepts 2023, so that's this year. Third best yards per play when giving the ball off and running it in that RPO. And they're currently 24th in the NFL in RPO usage. Lance, when you look at those, there isn't a Nick Chubb that kind of skews what the running back can do. Do you think they go to more of an RPO where, Deshaun Watson is in a shotgun and they play to his strengths?
I think that's been a question they've had. And, obviously with him being out late, that really affected the game plan. But the thing that I think they struggle with right now, more than anything, is just their identity. So, yes, I think the RPOs are really successful because of what they've done in the run game. They've shown some success out of empty. They've shown some success in 11 and 12 and 13 personnel. But what I think they're doing right now, it's more of a grab bag. And I've been there before where you're not really sure what your identity is. If you look at the Browns back in their Baker days and 3 or 4 years ago when they weren't as successful, when they were successful on offense, one of the reasons they were successful is they had an identity. And I don't think they really know their identity right now. Are they a pass team? Are they a gun team? Are they a pistol team? Are they whatever? Are they underneath? Are they more of what personnel groups now? Now you have injuries. Now you don't have Chubb. They had a certain idea of what they want to do. If you look at Elijah Moore, he hasn't been quite as successful in the route in the scheme they want or how they want to use him. So how do you tweak that a little bit? Do you just let him run routes, more RPOs, get in the slot a little bit more? So, yeah, I think the RPOs are an option. But more than anything else, they have to create an identity. And I still think that offensive line is the strength of their team. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is going to get them to the next level. But right now, those guys are kind of reaching, and they're struggling in pass protection because there's only so many reps in a week. And when you have only so many reps in the week, now you got to work pass protection. Pass protection is less aggressive than run. And I know, a lot of people argue and say it's not passive. It is passive by nature. It's not soft, and it still can be physical. But the Browns have been a physical run team. And I still think as much as they throw, they have to recreate that identity of being a physical run team and being productive when they do run the ball.
Do they change the way they run the ball? Because, again, Jerome Ford, and I think Jerome Ford will be an average to above average NFL running back. I think Pierre Strong could be an average to an above average NFL running back. Kareem Hunt at this stage of his career is an average to none of them are elite. You don't have what you had in Nick Chubb. How do you get to where you can be effective when you don't have elite?
Well, I think what you got to do is that first of all, it's game planning. So you go into a game plan and you got to figure out, who are the weaknesses on the defense and who can we attack, both at the first level of the defensive line and the second level. Then you have to run what you know. And, everybody wants Coach Stefanski to change things. And I will tell you, one of the things that I always believe in is that you have to run what you know. And the reason you have to run what you know is because you have to know how to fix it. And maybe it doesn't work, but at least you have a plan how to fix it. And so many times coaches will try things because other teams are doing them. And what ends up happening is that if it doesn't work, you don't know how to fix it. And, I think what they're doing right now is that they have to stay with their outside zone. They have to stay with their counter game. They have to stay with what they know how to fix. But I think the big thing they have to do is they have to scheme it, and they have to run it at the right people. They have to run it in the right down and distance, and they have to continue to make, get better in practice. And going back to what I said in the first question, I think they got to establish the identity that when we do run the ball, we're going to be physical and we're going to vertically displace people off the line of scrimmage. They've lost that part of their run game, and that they can get that back. Regardless of who's running the ball, regardless of what the scheme is, they got to get physical up front again.
Does that mean you don't expect them to go to more three wides? You expect them to go kind of to the two tight ends, or how does that look? What do you think it looks like?
Well, I still think 10 and 11 personnel is the way to go with Deshaun Watson. But I think what you do then is that you lighten the box when you have those receivers out there. The Browns have some pretty good skill guys, so I still think you lighten the box. I still think they're going to go more 11, 10, maybe a little 12 personnel, get Akins involved. He was a big pickup that hasn't been involved very much yet. But I still think I don't think you use as much 13 personnel or 21 personnel. I still think you stay in these spread sets. But regardless of the spread set, you can run power out of one back and two back. You can run the counter game out of one back or two back. You can run their pin and pull scheme out of one back and two back. You can run it out of multiple different sets. And I still think you need to lighten the box, because you need to run against 5 and 6 man boxes, because they're not getting as much movement as they have in the past, and it is not Nick Chubb running the ball. So I think the formation, that goes back to kind of what I said in the first question. I think they have to scheme it up. They have to get people out of the box. They have to run at the right people. They have to down and distance stuff to make sure that they're getting the looks they want. If you want to get nickel in the game, make sure that you have the right personnel against the 49ers that get you in the nickel, so you can run against one less linebacker, things like that. So I think it's a combination of attitude, scheme, staying with what you know. I don't think you can change the run game. I think you got to stay with pin and pull, counter, zone. But how do you do that out of one back, and how do you use the spread sets, and how do you get the looks that you want? That's what they're working on in this bye week.